how y'all doing? Today in this video here, I'm gonna break down the 2000 minor Tigers. This is the graduating class of 2001. Also, the class that was juniors was the 02 class, and then the 2003 class, which was sophomores. At this time, minor high school only was sophomore through senior, so it's a 3-year high school. This team was loaded with talent. Great senior leadership, great junior leadership. We had some stud players. We had big time players, highly recruited guys. We had everything you can think of. We had a good sized offensive line for high school. We didn't have a Huffman offensive line. When I played high school, Huffman probably had the biggest offensive line in the state and probably one of the top 25 in the nation. At one time, Huffman's smallest offensive lineman was 6'3", 330. They had a massive offensive line, especially for high school. But we had a good sized offensive line, and we had a good sized defensive line. We had LaQuentin Dudley and Derek Johnson on the defensive line. Derek Johnson, I was probably bigger than him, but he wrestled strong as an ox, and he played nose tackle. And then we had Dudley. We had Brandon Johnson at defensive end with Keith Hollis. Brandon Johnson went on to Louisville and played in the NFL. At linebacker, we had Arbin McGowan in the middle. We had Ladarius Smiley at the wheel, which is the weak side linebacker. He, by today's standards, he would be a 5-star recruit or a 4-star recruit, because he would be one of those strong safety outside linebacker types. Ladarius Smiley was a phenomenal athlete, track. Wow, the flashes hit you. But just a tremendous athlete at the linebacker, and he played running back. I think Ladarius Smiley had 120 or 130 tackles in 2000, forced fumbles, one of the top plays in the nation when he hit the punter for Tuscaloosa County. Tremendous athlete. And at the strong side, the Sam, we had Kenneth Hollis. You talk about an absolute nightmare for defenses and monster. Kenneth Hollis was sideline to sideline. He was in the backfield. He was big, strong, and fast. He was a 4'5", 4'48", 4'51" type guy. I mean, he was all over the field. Linebacker, helped with in the Big T when they put the big backs in. Kenneth Hollis was an absolute nightmare. The leader of the team and the team captain. We had Pat Burney at one corner. This was Pat's best year. I hate what happened to him his senior year, and we'll get into that when I cover that in another video. But Pat Burney was an absolute dog in 2000. An absolute dog in 2000. We had Bo Billingsley on the other side, and then you had Show Dog at strong safety. Show Dog was more like a linebacker at strong safety. Show Dog would come up. He reminded me a lot of Derwin James and Derek Gibson and kind of Steve Atwater. Like he come up, he putting the pop on you. And then we had Virgil King at free safety. V King, I went to minor junior with him. He out the backwoods. We close to the same neighborhood. I mean, a tremendous athlete and really a stud recruit. He went on to play college ball. A lot of these guys I'm talking about went to play college ball, but V King was the free safety and the punt return. And then on offense, Demetrius Agee, who I came in with, started, and we had Dre, we had a couple other guys. I forget their names, but I know them, love them. Haskett at tight end. We had the All-American quarterback. When you watch the movies, and remind you, when I'm talking about this stuff, if you've ever seen Friday Night Lights, Any Given Sunday, Varsity Blues, Wildcats, the program, a lot of these memories are like that, because a lot of that stuff, when you watch it, people can say, I remember that happened on this play, and I remember that. But Stephen Cordy, if it wasn't for Minor being in the wing T, primarily being the base formation, they start to open it up a little more. But if he would have been more in a pro style offense or I formation offense, they weren't even running one back then at Minor. You know, spreading it out, going in the gun a little more. He probably would have signed a scholarship. He was also the punter. But Stephen Cordy had one of the strongest arms I have ever seen. And I'm talking about from Jamarcus Russell, Jameis Winston, Jacob Coker, Dan Marino, John Elway. Michael Vick, he had a cannon. He would almost break your hand. When he threw the ball, it made a sound. You can hear it and see it when it was coming. Like he threw a ball, it had some zip on it. And we had fullback, we had Anthony Junebug Evans. Junebug, if you ever seen videos of kind of like Herschel Walker, Earl Campbell, that's what he fit the mold of. He had thighs as big as 22-inch rims. It took 4 or 5 people to tackle him. You just want him to go up, hit him with an arm tackle, or grab his jersey. He was a horse. He was the fullback. And then we had but we had Cartrell Biner at running back. If it wasn't for him getting an ankle injury against Andrew Jones, hurt his ankle one day in practice, and that's for another video. For my junior year, Cartrell probably would have signed a better scholarship. But you talking about a running back that when he cut on you, he left a lot of guys looking. Fast, strong, got better as the game went on, a lot of heart. I'm talking a guy that was tough, was not afraid to go in between the tackle, because they used to run that. We used to run some stuff y'all don't understand. We used to run buck, blast, traps, zones. We ran the wing T, so you pounding. You got 3 backs. You got a quarterback, fullback, your wing back, and your running back. So you're running everything inside, and you mix in a little bit of option. But Cartrell Biner was special in 2000. He was very, very special. Fast, tough. He was very, very special. And then we had Randy Agee. Randy Agee really was a type of kid that he was a threat. When he touched the ball, it normally was positive yardage. Randy was really a utility man, what you call an athlete. He could play in the secondary. He can play wide receiver. Randy really could get down. And that was our offense. Like I say, it's a couple of linemen. I know Joe, a couple of guys. I'm trying to think. I named most of y'all, but a couple of y'all I forgot. But anyway, so this team comes together. We come in from Bottenfield and Minor Jr. Some people come from other places. Chi-Town, Jarrell Foster comes from Chicago. And we put this team comes together, coached by Tony Lumford. We got Coach Burrow. First game of the season, we opened up against Shays Valley. Minor beat Shays Valley in 99. So they thought it was a fluke. So this is a big game. A lot of trash talk from Shays Valley side. And we come out and we do what we do. We dominate. The senior class starts the season off by establishing that you will have a hard time winning at what we call the Tiger Cage or the House of Pain, which is Tiger Stadium, Minor High School. At this time, when they opened this stadium to this time frame in my senior class, you probably had an easier time robbing Fort Knox or going into Death Valley and winning. I would compare how Minor Home's field advantage is what Florida State enjoyed at Doak Campbell for a long time, or what the Hurricanes enjoyed at the Orange Bowl, or even compared to going into the swamp. And when, like, you just did not come down Minor Parkway and make that right turn and talk about you finna win. It just didn't happen. So Minor established that right off the bat. Prove the critics wrong. So we roll on. We win the next game. West End, we win. So now we move to Hueytown. Another game, we dominate mentally, physically, emotionally. And we really wasn't blowing teams out. Like we did just enough to win. And we started to get more and more confident and better play. Our leaders were leading. Our coaches were doing an excellent job. So all of a sudden, you know, we're rolling, and then we meet a challenge. We play Central first. They had B.J. Dean. B.J. Dean went on to be the starting fullback at Florida State. So tough, physical game. Anytime you play against County and Central back in those days, you knew they had size, speed, and toughness. Tough game, we won. So the very next week, Fox 6 and ABC's game of the week. The grudge match. Minor, Tuscaloosa County. Now, this time, we starting to get some respect in the media. We starting to look at possibly being ranked in the top 10 in 6A. And this is a tough game. County comes out with the banner, Minor is minute. V. King, big return. Kenny shutting them down on defense. Brandon Johnson doing a tremendous job. Smiley hits the punter in the end zone. Rocks his world. I mean, that was on it was on every publication, especially dealing with high school, even recruiting shows. You know, it was on there. So we ended up winning that game and kind of started to put ourselves in a better position. And we started to get more confidence. Well, we ended up coming up 1 week against Winona, and everybody kind of wasn't taking it serious. And back then, for city schools, they would play tough, but versus schools kind of like Hoover or Minor, Vestavia, teams that were a little bit better, they would lose. And I remember back in them days, if you had an issue, Coach Burrow let you take it to the mat. So this just ain't me and me, and it's been female versus female. People that didn't play football had a disagreement in the workout. We just kind of like what Master P do, and actually some Fortune 500 companies do it. Just take it to the mat. Don't fight. Wrestle, settle your argument. Y'all go back. So I called out the alpha dog. I called out Kenneth Hollis. And mind you, at this time I was probably 5'11", 180. I wanting 200 pounds, and I got him. Flipped him. Now, he monkey flipped me about 5 or 6 times, but the whole reason why I did that is because I knew I could get him, and I think he underestimated me, and that was the point. We can't underestimate anybody. And so we ended up rolling on and winning, and we started to get more notoriety. Good Morning Alabama came to our high school. We played in several more game of the weeks and won. And then it all culminated in a regular season homecoming. Pound the Patriots. Midfield came to homecoming. And that's kind of when they just aired it out. Got a big victory. Went into the playoffs. Now, mind you, this is around the time, remember the Titans come out. Everybody got together on the team. We went and saw it as a team. We went to parties sometime as a team. We went to function as a team. And I want to say, first off, going into this video, I want to thank Mr. McDaniel and Mrs. McDaniel. One of my best friends, Danny McDaniel's mother. Our tradition was to go to his house on Friday. You leave, get out of school by 3:30, and you didn't have to be back to 5 or 5:30. So we would go over his house, and it went from getting stuff to his mother having us food, having us drinks, juice, and we would relax, play the game, chill out, home and away games. I want to thank Mr. McClure, who was a part of the Boosters, the father of Mike McClure and Darius McClure. I want to thank him. And also, I didn't mention Mike McClure is the starting wide receiver. Him and Eric Jones. I want to thank him for everything he done for us. The Hollises, so many other parents, I want to thank y'all. But we used to spend a lot of time together. We were a team that bonded. We were a team that kind of built a bond and built a family. We trusted each other. We enjoyed that ride. And that was because our senior leadership made it that way. So we end up now going into the first round of the playoffs. We played Austin Decatur. It's November. Weather's changing. Rain, mud. The field was in good condition, but it rained. It was a sloppy game. And I remember this because in the first half, Kenny had about 13 or 14 tackles, and he tore his cleats up. Goes in, gets the cleats out the car at halftime, spat. I think he spat both legs or one foot because Kenny didn't spat, but he had to at this time because cleats. This is sophomore, junior, senior year cleats. Lucky cleats, good cleats. I'm not saying anything about the man's situation because he had a twin brother, mom and daddy had an intact house. So don't want y'all to think that. Just saying his cleats toe up. And so it's a muddy, it's a dogfight type game. First round of the playoffs. What you expect? This is the right to hold up the trophy. This is what you dream about. You're undefeated. You're 10-0. You at home. And I want to say we may have had home field throughout the playoff. I don't even know if we would have had to leave Adamsville to play. Maybe in the third or fourth round. And at this time they played it was the Super Six. It wasn't no 7A. You played at Legion Field, so we ain't got to leave Birmingham. And in one of those games, everybody stepped up. The fans, the alumni, the support staff, the coaches, the trainers, and we got it done. So we're 11-0. We're ranked number 3 in 6A football, team of destiny. We don't remember the Titan. We live in the dream. We're here. We got several of the best players in the state of Alabama on our team. We got an offense that can pound the ball, they can pass a little bit, but running the ball, getting yards, yeah. Defensively, we can play with anybody. We can play the spread. Our specialty is you line up and run the ball, where it's I formation or option. And so we draw Shays Valley. We draw Shays Valley. And when I tell you, I remember this. I remember this like I'm looking at it in my head now, like I'm there. Muddy night, foggy, muggy. One of those games we scored first, and the defense was playing lights out. Now, for a lot of you young folks, Shays Valley threw a little bit. They tried to pass, but back then they was a wing T team, so they're running. You got your wing back running, your running back running. You hitting the full back up the gut through the 0, 1, and 2 hole because you setting up something else. You setting up option. So it's one of those games like we were up 7-0. And a lot of us at this time, we thinking like the Baltimore Ravens. 7-point, Kenny and them finna shut it down. It's over. Brandon Johnson, V King, those guys finna do their thing. Offense finna control the ball, and we finna get out here with this win. We moving on to the third round. And Arvin McGowan goes out. I don't know if it was a cramp. I forget if it was a long time, but he didn't come back. And I don't know why to this day they did not put Clarence Fuller in. I don't know. I'm not saying anything about Junebug, but I don't know why. But they put Junebug in. So I guess Junebug is 45 and Arvin was 44. So I guess a play or two, they realized that Arvin wasn't in. So they hit the buck option. Quarterback takes the ball, puts it in the running back or fullback's belly, pulls it. And when I say he turned the cone and went up the sideline, he had to go at least, they won in the red zone. So they won 20 inside. He had to be 25, 30, or at least 40 yards. And he went in and scored. And I think the game got 7-7, and this is when they got 14. And I remember when they scored, it was a silence in the stadium. Like everybody was in shock. And I remember Floyd Smith broke out in tears. Floyd Smith threw his helmet on the sideline and broke out in tears. He's like, man, come on, we got to do this. And he cried. And the fans are kind of, everybody, white, big-eyed and long-jawed, and, lip poked out. And we looking like, oh, shit. And I was just trying to figure out, like, what happened? And I just remember Floyd was crying. So we went to the hurry-up offense. And they scored. It's probably like 2 or 3 minutes. Like the deep is 7-7. I don't know I forget how they scored. It probably was a lucky play because our defense was that good. And it was a muddy game. And again, we had size, but we had speed. We had a lot of guys that were 4'6" and 4'5" and under. Really. Most of our skill position guys, even Mike McClure, 4'5". I mean, Trail, 4'4" guy. Randy Agee, 4'4". Bo Billingsley, V King, 4'4" guys. Kenneth Hollis ran a 4'4", 4'5". Brandon Johnson, 4'5". So the mud hurt us more than it hurt them. Just like it did in Hoover my senior year, but that's for another video. But anyway, I remember them going to the hurry up. Spread the field, 1 back, tight end 3 wide or 4 wide. The dogs on the field now. Mike McClure, Randy Agee, V King. I mean, they got Trail out there like we're running no huddle, and we just couldn't get it done. And how I remember this, because I'm on, we on the home sideline. They were going towards the end zone that's away from the field house. Now, mind you, at this time frame for Modern High School, the games would be so packed, the fire marshal would have to shut it down. Like literally, when I played all 3 years, it was a sellout. It was beyond a sellout. Now, this is before they upgraded the stadium. You had one concession stand. When you walked through the door, you went up like basically like a wedge. It was like a sideways triangle. And you went, and that was the concession. You went to the front of the field house, and they had the turn crank windows. And that's where the lunch lady sold the tickets. And you had 2 ways in. You had on the other side of our stands and the main gate. Now they got, the away team got a locker room. They got multiple concessions. They done changed from natural grass to turf. But back then, they used to put the band in the end zone, and they would get extra bleachers, and they would go around the track, and the games would be packed and sold out. Like this game right here, I mean, you had more fans than a UAB game. And I just remember looking at them people, and they looking at us, and Cordy trying to run the offense. And they trying to hit Randy. They trying to work Mike McClure. They trying to work V King on deep route, because that was his thing. And we just didn't get it done. And I'm going to tell y'all, this end of this story is probably when I realized what it really means when somebody retires or you graduate and this is your last game. Like, we shook their hand. We had a garage door. That's what the lawnmower equipment was, but you can actually walk to the locker room and through there. But during game day, you walked around and went through the door where there was a door, and you went through the door, you would walk up, you would turn right, and you could go to the where the weight room was and the mat and all that stuff. Or you can stay straight and you can walk straight up to the glass door in the front, and you could turn right or left to go to the either to the weight room or to the locker room. So I remember coming in and making the first left, and that took you in by V King's locker and by the showers. And I remember going in, and Virgil and V King were in there crying and hugging and talking and getting their stuff together. And they were mad at somebody, because somebody, I think, was laughing or was kind of in a mood that ticked them off. And they just was like, man, it's over, man. We ain't playing no more. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got next year. I ain't got next year. This is it. Like, he was hot. He was sad. He was hot. And you can just see the look on his face, the pain and anguish. And I remember looking at my buddy, Brandon Johnson. We called him Plan B. He just was in disbelief. He was still trying to process what happened. So I walked up. Now, we didn't have what they have now. I ain't been there in a while, so I don't know. We had wooden bench lockers. But you had a bench you sit on, and it had a big enough space for you to put your clothes, your bag, your shoulder pads, and helmet. You put stuff on top, inside, on the bottom of it. So it was fairly good. It was simple. We didn't have all the modern stuff like this. It was simple. And I remember walking to my locker, taking my stuff off, and right across the street, what I call it, I'm looking right to the side. And my buddy Kenny Hollis was sitting in there, man. Sitting in there. And it's something, I when I tell you this, I'm describing this to the T. He was sitting in the locker, and he was sitting like this, just sitting. He had his hands on his hips, helmet on, chin strap still buckled. He had one of them old school Brett Favre chin straps. He ain't had that hard plastic. He had the little soft chin strap. Jersey covered in mud, because we didn't get the new jersey to my junior year. But we had some of the best football pants, the white pants. They stopped wearing the purple pants for whatever reason. And I think we wore the purple pants like one time my sophomore year for a varsity game. They didn't hardly do purple on purple. It was purple and white, and then white on white. But he had the white pants on covered. Socks taped up at the knee so they wouldn't fall down, and he was covered in mud. And I got changed, and I went outside, told my mama, hold on, try to see, can I help my man out? And I kind of stayed there with him, and I helped him when he took his helmet off. I helped him get some stuff together, and I will always remember that. I just remember, man, the man was in the locker, gloves on. Kenneth had a allergic action to the grass. So he had like some cut off thermals, and he had them taped up around his elbows. And he just sat there in that mud. And that's when I looked at him, and I realized that, yeah, this is it, man. When your last game is up, you'll never put that jersey back on. And for them guys to work so hard as seniors, move all the way up to number 3 and 6A, to be at home, to consider yourself a team, because anybody thinks that. I mean, you done won 11 straight games. You thinking you finna get it done. You're finna get a state championship. You finna be 15-0. You finna finally complete the mission that we're still searching to complete. And it didn't happen that day. Hard game. 14-7. Like I say, it was a tough game. We scored first. I think they scored a touchdown in the second half, and then they hit that buck or that blast option. They've been running all game. So you dialed in, you see it, you're attacking. Like I said, they just happened to get in there and do that and score. And I just never forget Floyd Smith broke out and started crying, man. And all us, like me, Danny, Peanut, Pete, Jarrell, Courtney, all us, man, Aaron Brown, Stanley, I could name so many more, was sitting at the Corey Clark, all us sitting there in shock. Like, we're just like, what happened? What's going on? Like, this can't be real. Like, no, man, no, something wrong. I mean, if you remember that game against Dallas Carter and Odessa Permy, and they lost, that was it. Like, it happened like that. Like, it happened. I'm telling you, when I was there, it's like it's still playing in my mind. I remember the smell of the grass. I remember the scoreboard. I remember everything about that moment. And it's just like, man, it was something. I will never forget that, man. The 2000 Tenacious Tigers, the graduating class, of 2000. It was tough, man. I'm telling you, it's like you living a dream. You 11-0, 11-0, undefeated at home, third ranked defense, third ranked team in the state of Alabama in 6A, top 5 defense in the state. You didn't beat everybody. You didn't beat everybody that came up. Every test, you were 10-0. You won the first round. You're in the second round, and anybody know this. It's tough to beat a team 2 times in high school and college. NFL, they play their division opponents twice, but it's tough to beat a team twice. The other team is more, you done won, they're a little bit more motivated. We was motivated. Everybody was motivated. I mean, we used to coach. I can't say everything, but I can say Coach Burrow gave us such motivation, such fire. And when you hear, I'm ready, cuz, you know what time it is. It was there. It's Friday night, man. We're trying to go to the state championship. We're trying to win state. We're trying to be great. And the stars align. I mean, you team of destiny. I keep saying it. And to lose that game in that moment is something I will never forget. Being a sophomore coming in with such wonderful guys, wonderful leadership, taught us a lot of work ethic, showed us what to do. You know, we learned the Texas 4-3. We learned the wing tee. These guys worked with us, man. We had stars. We had guys that consistently dominated the West News and the Birmingham News. You know, we had guys that was on the scene that year for national notoriety. I mean, we had everything. We had a running back that can go the distance. We had a fullback you couldn't tackle. We had a quarterback. We had Mike McClure. Mike McClure had some sweet catches. He had a couple of touchdowns. A lot of people underestimate Mike McClure, and they probably look at him now because he's a preacher, and they probably don't look at it. But I know Mike. I work with Mike every day. Mike McClure was an absolute tremendous route runner. He had great hands. Him and Stephen Cordy had a great relationship. Juvie, Eric Jones. I still this day don't know how he didn't get a Division I scholarship. Tall, he's taller than me. I'm at this stage. I'm 6'1". He was like 6'2", at least 190, 200 pounds. Track guy, world class speed, great hands. I mean, we had everything, man. To that senior class set such a standard. I don't even know if anybody, even our senior class, comes close. Now, we had the all-time wins, but that was only for 3 years. So I'm probably saying 2017 graduating class may have more wins. But, you know, when I talk about a video like this, it's as real as it get. You can go ask Jamel Jackson. He got the highlight tapes. I'm telling you, man, that 2000 team for Minor was loaded, was deep, and was talented. And I hated ending in Adamsville on Minor Parkway like that, man. I really do. It still bothers me today. I remember sometimes at night while I'm sleeping, I have nightmares about it. And I know the guys that were seniors, captains, leaders, and starters. I know they probably missed that. But it's just something, man, about high school football that I love, I enjoy, and I enjoy football. And, man, I want to thank y'all for taking time out to listen to the story about the 2000 Tenacious Tiger. I hope one day to be able to produce a movie about it. I mean, they did it for Friday Night Lights. I'm end up writing a book, and I'm hopefully one day do a movie about it. That's my goal, and definitely my senior class. But to come in like that, and not get it done. And I mean, not get it done when you were that close. You were that close. Still bothers me to this day, man. Them guys gave everything. That leadership, that coaching staff, man. Our support staff, our boosters. That was a team of destiny, team of fate. And Didn't work. So again, I thank y'all for y'all time. Y'all have a good day. Again, I'm always say go Noles. Mine are Tigers on the roll. Love y'all. Be blessed. See you later.